Okay, my peeps. So, who owns a lot of clothes? I own a bit. Do you spend a lot of money on your clothes? I bet you do. But how do you actually look after your clothes? Do you think about how you care for your clothes? Did you know that actually if you do care for your clothes, they'll last a lot longer and look really good for a lot longer? Do you want to know how to care for your clothes? Well, stick around because this video is for you. Now, before we get into the really exciting stuff of caring for your clothes, let's take a little bit of time out to talk about caring for your linen. So, who's got really lovely white sheets and towels and struggles to keep them lovely and white and fluffy? I do, but I've figured out how to keep them white, fluffy and smelling yummy. So I've got a freebie in the link below somewhere that you can grab. Just go onto my website and grab it, and I'll take you through all the steps you can do to keep your sheets, towels looking lovely, fluffy and smelling really yummy. So check it out. Hi, welcome back. This month on Tidying with Tania, we're talking about clothing care. Now, I have learned a thing or two about looking after my clothes over the years. When I was younger, we didn't have fast fashion, so we had to make sure that our clothes lasted a long time and looked good. So, of course, I've picked a few things up. Now, what I wanted to do this month is just basically share that knowledge with you guys and talk a little bit about my 3 elements that I do to look after my clothes, and that's looking at how I store them, how I look after them, how I launder them, and basically my last one is about how I fold them, which sounds a bit weird, but we'll get into it. So yeah, I want to just cover off those 3 elements with you, and hope you enjoy and find something that's really useful to make sure that you know how to look after your clothes and make them last longer. Let's jump into it. Alrighty guys, so we are in my cupboard at the moment, and there is a previous blog about how I organised this. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link somewhere around here for you. Anyway, so the first things around clothing care is what I call storage. So that is about how you store your clothing. So one of the most important things with clothing is you have to have a lot of good air circulation where you keep your clothing. It helps to keep them dry. It also helps to reduce any mustiness, and if you've got any issues with mold in your house, having air circulating through where your clothing is really helpful for that, because it helps to reduce and eliminate that. The other thing is, in terms of when you actually store them, which helps with the air circulation, is to not bunch your clothing up when you have them. So that is about coming back to not having too much clothing. Basically keep on top of your clothing and keep decluttering your clothing and cleaning it out every now and again. It's really important not to jam all your clothes in. You've got to have the air circulating around. So what also helps with that, as you can see, I space out all of my coat hangers like this, so they've got there's plenty of gaps between them. I haven't overcrowded my clothing. And also I use, for instance, I use these sorts of coat hangers. So these are just the flat velvet ones. It's a personal choice, but I like these because they're not bulky, so they enable me to hang a little bit more and also give that space in the cupboard that I need to. The other thing about storage is what you choose to hang and also what you fold. So for me, I fold only my tops, so my t-shirts, my long tops, and also jerseys. Don't ever hang jerseys. Some people do, and that's personal, right? But I personally would never hang jerseys because you misshapen them when you hang them on coat hangers. So folding jerseys, woolens, long tops, short tops, I fold all my tops. And then for my shirts, I hang all my shirts and my jackets. And I also hang trousers and skirts on these types of coat hangers because they help to keep everything flat, and they also stop any creasing from occurring, because often if you fold trousers over and hang them on over a coat hanger that's got an edge on them, they can put a mark into your trousers. So I always use these, they're really good, and use them for skirts as well. And all my long dresses I also hang up. So that's what I would advise you in terms of storage. So hang your trousers, your jackets, your shirts, and your long dresses, skirts, and then fold all your tops as much as you can. Okay, that is it with storage. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to cover off with that. So the main thing is air circulation. Don't overcrowd your storage space. Use good coat hangers to help make sure there's space. And fold your tops and hang your shirts, jackets, trousers, dresses, and skirts. Okay? Okay guys, so the next topic is laundering your clothing. There's a lot in that topic, but I just want to start with the first key thing, which is wash less. People, I think, generally now wash their clothes way too much. You actually can get away with not washing a lot of your clothing for not a lot. So let me have an example. Jeans. Jeans, you can basically wear jeans for ages before you actually need to wash them. Unless you're obviously using your jeans outside and getting really dirty and the jeans are getting like dirt all over them. If you're doing that, obviously you'll need to wash jeans, but if you're just wearing your jeans around the house, going out, you don't need to wash them every time you wear them. So just stop and think about whether you need to wash your item every single time you wear them. A lot of our clothes, we just don't need to wash them a lot. So for me, jeans I probably would only wash once every couple of weeks. Jerseys only wash every season, especially woolen jerseys. You don't need to at all. Just you can wear them, they're absolutely fine. And things like blazers, you can probably just get them dry cleaned once a year even. So that is my first point about laundry. Don't wash them that much, then you don't need to launder them, all right? So, but anyway, the reality is you do need to launder some. So before I jump into that detail, I just also want to point out about reducing washing. In fact, putting clothes out in the fresh air, in sunshine, is just as good, almost better, than actually washing them. Because putting clothes in a washing machine, that item gets bashed around in the washing machine to get washed, so it's actually quite harmful on clothing. So as much as you can, just pop it out in the fresh air or in the sunshine or both, and it will actually freshen up that garment and you won't need to wash them. I often do that, particularly in the summer. You don't often need to do that. Wintertime it's obviously a lot harder depending on where you are. You can't always get them outside in the fresh air. So anyway, so back to laundering. So the key thing, first thing, is always look at the instructions. Most items would always have inside the seam, they would have some instruction label like this here. So if you've got a garment, when you first buy a garment, you should always know what the materials are. So these will tell you, these tags tell you what the materials are, and they also tell you the best way to wash them. So do read them first, they're actually quite helpful. So a lot of the time you can wash in cold water, and I would also advise you to, as much as you can, when you are washing things like jeans, turn them inside out. Definitely if you're turning garments inside out, it helps to preserve that garment a lot better. Also use what are called wash bags or laundry bags for more delicate items like your underpants, your bras, delicate vests, things like that. Put them into laundry bags. I often do that with all my scarves I have. I'll put them into a laundry bag and then put them in the washing machine. And with my jerseys, as I said, I only wash them probably every season, and I would hand wash them. there are delicate cycles and woolen cycles on a lot of washing machines now, so they may be okay, but and fine to use, and I have done that from time to time, and the woolen garment's been fine. But I just like to hand wash because I'm only doing it once a season, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, so in terms of laundering, those are probably my key pieces of advice. There are lots of information out there on the internet about stain removal, tips and tricks with washing. So I'm not going to give you all of that detail. All I'm just going to talk to you about is the fundamentals of good care. And the first thing when it comes to laundering is just don't wash your clothes that much. Just air them out and wash them when you absolutely need to, like when they're really pongy. No, not really. So I've got an actual dress that I've got hanging up over there that I've worn for a couple of days. It's absolutely fine. It's not dirty. It's not even smelly, and but I want to keep wearing it. But I don't need to wash it now. So I've just got it hanging up, and I'll get a bit of air circulation around it. I'll get a bit of sun through the window because it's winter here at the moment, so I don't want it outside. But yeah, so it'll be absolutely fine. So I don't need to wash it. The other thing that actually is really helpful if you don't need to wash is using a lint roller. So if you find something's got a bit of dust or cat hair on it, just get your lint roller out and roll it on your garment. Particularly jeans is quite common for that, and that's really helpful to get rid of things that you might have traditionally thought, oh, I'll just shove it in the wash. You don't need to. Just get that lint roller out and you're all good. You don't have a lint roller, go grab some sellotape and put it back to back around your fingers. It's a really good trick, and then you just wipe and gets rid of the same thing. So it's an old trick. Yeah. So for laundry, I think that's about it. I've got a frog in my throat, so I need to go and sort that out before I carry on. Okay, so I'm back. Hopefully I won't cough a lot. Anyway, so just continuing on in the laundering stage. I wanted to also talk a little bit about ironing. Now, I think it's really not that common for people to iron their clothes anymore. I actually do own an iron, and actually I do use it. So I like to iron my shirts, voila, and my trousers and even my jeans. By pressing clothes, it actually does help to preserve clothes. So most people, especially now, don't own irons, but what I would suggest you do if you're thinking about it is get a handheld steamer. Steamers are actually really good. They're really effective, and I'll probably end up getting one. I don't have one myself. I just use my iron. But a steamer is really good because all you do is, especially with the handheld ones, if the garment's a little bit crinkly or it just needs freshening up, you just grab your steamer and you just basically, obviously, it's like an iron, but it just pushes the steam out onto the garment. And so you just basically take it down gently, and it just eases out all the wrinkles. And it also, because it steams, it puts a little bit of warm moisture onto the garment, which helps to take out any odours, and also it does remove any little bit of dirt there may be, but not obviously stains. But as a steamer is actually a really good thing to have to help freshen up without having to wash a garment. And there are a lot on the market at the moment, and I probably may, if you have a look, there might be some links in my blog to some steamers that I've looked at, so I probably will do that for you if you want to have a look. Yeah, so that's what I would say around ironing and steaming. A steamer, handheld steamer, is a really useful tool to have in terms of laundering. What else did I want to talk about in terms of laundering? I think that was the main thing. Yeah. So let's jump into the last item, which is about folding. Now, I'm going to do a demonstration, so I'll cut away and do that in a minute. But as you see, these are, I fold, right? And we all know about the was it Marie Kondo method of folding? So news people, a lot of us have folded our clothes like that way before that ever came on the scene. So yeah, it's not new for me and my generation. We've all learned to fold our clothes. So but there are some but it's good that, you know, it's out there now that folding is a useful thing to do to try and keep your clothes more organized. So that's kind of useful, but it also helps to look after the garment is the main thing with folding, is why I do it, and also for storage. So what I want to do is show you how I fold most of my clothes. I have what's called a 2x3 method. If you think of wood, 2x2s, 2x4s. Anyway, I call it my 2x3 method. It's a little bit like the Marie Kondo method, because folding clothes is all very similar. But I do want to show you how I do that. So I will take you away and set that up and do that. The other thing is I do fold my bras and my smalls as well. I don't just shove them all in. I do fold them. Again, it's all about looking after the garment. If you fold it, it will keep it in its shape properly, particularly bras. And I do see that a lot of time people have them out fully and they'll line them up in their drawers, and that's great. That's really good. If you don't have the room to do that, you can actually fold them in on themselves, which is what I do. An example of that would be this one here. Just take that out. So I just basically fold the bra on itself and it sits like that. This is a really old one, but yeah, it does look after them when they are in storage, essentially. Yeah, so yeah, so that, oh, look at that, I've just jammed it, it's not good. So I'll take you away and show you how I do my folding. Okay guys, so I'll just take you through some garments. It's a bit weird, you won't be able to see my face, but that's okay. So these two are already folded, but I'll just show you, these are what I call my 2x2s. So essentially what you do is you have your garment, comes out of the washing machine, just lay it like that. So one on its front, and then what's the hair there, and then you fold over once, twice, that, put the sleeves down there, and then once, twice, and that's what I call your 2x2. So that's what I'm doing when I'm putting them in the areas where I have to have them flatter. And jerseys, I always fold my jerseys like this. So this is a rather large jersey. It's a yummy jersey, by the way. It's a vintage jersey, so it's quite old, but it's beautiful. So again, lay it, well, there is no front or back, it doesn't matter. So two, so once over like this. We've got those lovely sleeves, and once over like this, so that's two. And then this one, I actually would do this, either you can do it 2x2 like this, depending on where you're storing it, but because I want it flatter, I do this just the once and have it like that. So yeah, those are those two items. So this is just an old raggedy old thing, undergarment I've had for absolutely donkey's years, but I still use it. It's absolutely fine. So I use this is what I call my 2x3. So you just fold it over. So you always lay them down on their fronts, fold the backs over once, twice, like that. Then I fold it once, twice, 3 times. And there you go. Now I think that's also the Marie Kondo method. See, because you can hold it up like that, like, yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, so that's what I do. Done it for a long time, FYI. Bras. So this is another old bra I've had for donks. Again, so I see a lot of them and will stack them up like that in their drawers, which is cool. But because I don't have the space, all I do is simply turn them inside each other and the back, and then pull the straps and put them like that and just store them like that. And that works really well, and then you can just tuck another bra up underneath it and you can store them like that, and that works really well. Undies, so these ones here, all I do with undies is fold them up over and over, and that's my undergarment. So all done. That's really folding 101 for you guys. Okie dokie, guys. Hey, before I sign off on this video, hey Twigs, come and say hello. It's my wee pretty cat. I just have a few last tips and tricks. Well, they're not necessarily mine actually, but they're ones that I have read and heard about. Some of them I do, and some of them I haven't tried yet. So I've written them down, so I'll just check them. So the first thing is around putting a scent into your wardrobe or where you're storing your clothes. So I often will use a jute bag, just a small jute bag, and put some cotton balls in there and a nice essential oil smell in there as well, one of your favorite ones, and just hang them up on a coat hanger or just pop them on the shelf, and it's a really nice way to put a bit of scent through your wardrobe. But if you've got good air circulation and your clothes aren't all jammed in, then you probably shouldn't find that you've got an odour in your wardrobe. If you do, you really need to get some more air circulating through there. So the wardrobe shouldn't be pongy at all. Okay, just saying. Right, stain remover. So for me, I just use the old Sard soap, which is just a bar of soap, and just would spot clean. There is also Friend, I think it's called, which is a really good stain remover. I did used to use it a lot when I had the kids really young. It's actually a really, really effective stain remover. But now I don't, just Pete and I, we don't get that dirty that often, so I don't really need a stain remover a lot, but I do have the Sard soap, which is really useful. Now the other thing I've got down here, I haven't tried this, but I've heard that with jeans, and it helps reducing the need to wash and preserving them as well, is turning them inside out and putting them in the freezer. Yeah, so if you've done that, and let me know, was it like, how did it go? Because that really intrigues me. I'm just thinking about them thawing out. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, that was one. I've not tried that before. And another one that I picked up, which is interesting, I will try this one, is vodka and water just gently sprayed on blazers to helps just to rejuvenate them. So actually I think that's I can understand how that kind of works. It's a little bit like vinegar and water, and just lifts stuff off and refreshes them. So I might give that a go. So those are my last little gems to part with. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video. As usual, I always enjoy making them for you guys, that you can find, even if it's just one little thing that you can find useful and helpful. That's really good. Don't forget to check out my website. The links are all below, where I've got some great free resources for you to grab. And look forward to catching up next month on a yet to be figured out video. Okay guys, bye.